The UN Refugee Agency Chief Filippo Grandi said Kenya just months before the closure of the world's largest refugee camp. Kenya says 328,000 Somali refugees there must go home by November. The refugee chief said the refugees will need support for 6 months to a year, as much of war-torn Somalia lacks infrastructure to convince them to voluntarily go back home.
The chief of the United Nations Refugee Agency makes his first visit to Kenya. Filippo Grandi's visit comes as the Kenyan government announced plans to shut down the Dadaab refugee camp. The camp is home to nearly 350,000 refugees, mostly from neighboring Somalia. But now Kenyan officials want the camps shut down, claiming there is a security threat used by members of Al-Shabaab. Grandi, who visited the sprawling Dadaab camp, called for Kenya to conduct the closure in the most humane way.
I think everybody agreed, and President Kenyatta was also quite emphatic in stating that repatriation, when it happens, has to be conducted in a humane, dignified manner without exposing returnees to any undue risk for their lives. So no security risks, and has to be conducted in line with international principles. May I add that as the High Commissioner, I have told both presidents that for us it is also very important that repatriation be conducted voluntarily, according to the will, to the wishes of the people when they want to go back. But it is also very clear that we need to help create conditions based on which they can make that informed decision. And that has been slow so far, very slow.
Kenya's government has hosted refugees from Somalia since 1991, when civil war started tearing the country apart. Today, Dadaab is the world's largest refugee settlement. People living in the camps are perplexed by the security allegations made by Kenya.
There's no one who can deny his country. We are ready to go back to our country, but it's not the time being, today or tomorrow, because of the challenges and the reasons why we came fled from Somalia. Still, some of the challenges are still there.
Kenya, Somalia and the UNHCR signed a tripartite agreement to help Somali refugees from Dadaab begin voluntarily returning home. More than 14,000 have returned so far, and thousands more have signed up to leave. The remaining refugees will have to move by November, when the government shuts down the camp. ANN7 Bureau Report.